Hello, my name is Chris and welcome to today's book looking at A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin in a hardcover version. After looking at the paperback edition and the library binding last time, today we are going to look at the hardcover version of A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. So those two go away for now and we're focusing on the hardcover version, which is going to take up a bit more time since there are a lot of things to consider when spending money on a book that is rather expensive. This one wasn't so expensive, but there are deluxe and special editions of the book out there that are very rare and some of them extremely expensive. So if you find one of them at a good price, I recommend you take a go at it. This one is the original one that was released in 1996. So it's of course of a newer date. And content-wise, when comparing it to the mass paperback edition, of course, the story is the same, though the hardcover binding is missing the preview I told you about. In the paperback edition, there is a short preview of A Clash of Kings at the end. This one is not in the hardcover version. When looking at the price and you want to buy this book, you will have to pay something about $20 to $25, and this is not too expensive for a hardcover version, but as I already told you, there are other editions that come at over $100, so you might want to check out which one to take. This one is available and it's not too expensive. In contrast to the library binding that we looked at last time, this one is a real hardcover version. So first looking at the dust cover, you see that it is identical to the paperback edition from 2011. This one was, I think. The colors are a bit different and it is missing the commercial for the TV series on top. I think that's very nice if you put it somewhere. Looks better in my opinion. On the back side, we look here. You see lots of critical reviews, though they are praising him, of course. The paperback edition had a small synopsis with a few reviews, and the synopsis moved to the inside flap of the dust cover. So you have a small synopsis here, a bit about the author himself, and of course the original price tag here. You see it dropped in price, and that's a good thing. So once the dust cover goes off, which we will do very carefully, we see the binding itself. It is black and there is nothing on the front or on the back, which made me quite sad, since there are editions where you have something very nice on the front and the back. What we can see when looking at the spine of the book is that we have the name of the author and the name of the book in shiny blue letters and the name of the publisher. What maybe you can see it is that there is a little line here, and it's the same on the back. So it is rather plain on the outside, though some people do like plain books, and I think when putting it in the bookshelf it looks rather good. When opening the book, we meet the familiar maps we already know from the 2013 movie tie-in edition. This is the one It was used for the library binding, the maps. Funny thing is that you have the same maps at the end of the book. Not sure why they did this. The paper itself has better quality than the one used in the paperback editions, of course. It is not the best paper I have seen in books, so you can still see shining through, which is the case, always the case, but not that much. It is not perfectly white either, but when we look at the text itself, you will notice that the font is a lot larger and there's a bigger spacing between the text, which makes it much easier to read, at least for me. Just looking at a few pages. What surprised me, and maybe you already did notice, is that the whole text looks a bit tilt. See, the space here is much larger than it is here. I'm not sure if this is a problem of only this book, since I bought it used one, and maybe the person who got it gave it away because he was not content with it. Maybe if you own the book, you can give a bit of feedback and tell us if it is a general problem of this edition and of this binding. Because I think if this is the case, then it's a real deal breaker. When it comes to measurements, we already saw that it is a lot larger than the paperback edition. I think it is 1.7 inches, about 4 centimeters thick. A lot. So that's almost as thick as the paperback edition, just a bit thicker. You can see it here. It is 9 inches high and about 6.5 inches wide, which are 23 centimeters and 16.5 centimeters. This being said, they didn't need as much pages as in the paperback edition to print the whole text. So let's see how much pages it took. It ends on page 674. We remember that the story in the paperback edition took up over 800 pages. Then we have the familiar overview of the houses of Westeros. Short acknowledgement about the author. And then the maps again. Quality-wise, I think this is the best version we took a look at. Even though I'll have to say that the problem here really bugs me, and I hope we can clarify this with your help. If I had to choose between the three, which one to put in my bookshelf, I would definitely go with this one, even though I think looking at one of the deluxe or special editions is worthwhile. Yeah. When considering how much stars to give it, I'm really having a hard time, because of course it is more expensive than the paperback edition. It has a higher quality, and the binding is very nice, and you can see this here. It is a very nice binding, and still I have to say, if this problem is a general problem, then it's only 3 out of 5 stars, because I would not buy an expensive book with a flaw like this. If it's just a problem of this particular book and not in general, I would give it 4 out of 5 stars. I mentioned other hardcover versions, and I'm going to show you 2 of them. One of them is not available, and if you find it somewhere, it's supposed to be very, very expensive. That is the Deluxe Edition. And another one is another Deluxe Edition, and this one is not as expensive. I've seen it for I think 30 euros. I don't have them here. If one of you has it, I would love to get some feedback how this edition compares to the hardcover we looked at today. And I think it is very worthwhile to spend a bit more money on these books, and especially on the hardcover edition, if you want to keep it, if you want to have it in your bookshelf. As I said, for just reading and carrying around, the paperback edition is more than enough, but I love the book, I have to admit, and so I will look at other hardcover editions as well. As always, if you have further questions about this particular book or any other, please leave me a comment or send me a message and I will come back to you. If there are other books that you would like to see and have a book look at, please let me know. I will see if I can get my hands on them or already have them, and I will make one and help you decide which version of the book to buy. For today, I thank you for watching and hope to see you again in our next book look. Bye!
Tu mirada que decía mil cosas acabando de llegar.